In a village nestled deep within the heart of ancient Africa, there flowed a river unlike any other. They called it the Midnight River, for its waters were as dark and impenetrable as a starless night sky. The elders spoke of it in hushed tones, weaving tales of its mysterious powers. They said the river was a gateway, a bridge between the world of mortals and the realm of the spirits. To drink from it was to invite madness. To swim in it was to risk being pulled into the depths forever. The villagers respected its power, building their homes a safe distance from its banks, their fear a tangible wall between them and the enigmatic water. For generations, no one dared to truly approach the Midnight River. It was a source of both life and terror. Its dark currents carried whispers of forgotten gods and ancient secrets, and on the nights of the new moon, some claimed to see faint, ethereal lights dancing upon its surface. The river was a living entity, its moods as unpredictable as the weather. Sometimes it would flow gently, its silence profound and calming. Other times, it would rage, its dark waters churning with a fury that seemed to shake the very earth. The village lived in its shadow, a silent, watchful neighbor they could never fully understand. The village shaman, a wise old woman named Akua, was the only one who seemed to have a connection to the river. She would often sit by its edge, her eyes closed, seemingly listening to a conversation no one else could hear. She taught that the river was not evil, but misunderstood. It was a guardian, she explained, a keeper of balance. Its darkness held not malice, but a power too ancient and profound for ordinary minds to grasp. But even Akua, with all her wisdom, could not have foreseen the event that was about to change the village's relationship with the Midnight River forever. One year, a great drought fell upon the land. The sun beat down relentlessly, cracking the earth and withering the crops. The village's wells ran dry, and the smaller streams that fed their community slowed to a trickle, then vanished completely. Desperation began to creep into the hearts of the people. Their reserves were dwindling, and the once vibrant village was slowly starving. The only source of water left was the one they feared the most, the Midnight River. The elders debated for days and nights. To drink from the river was to court disaster, but to die of thirst was a certainty. Among the villagers was a young woman named Adana. She was newly married and expecting her first child. As the drought worsened, her concern grew not just for herself, but for the new life she carried. One evening, driven by a thirst that was almost unbearable, she found herself walking towards the forbidden riverbank. Her husband had gone with the other men to search for water in distant lands, and she was alone. The moon was a sliver in the sky, casting long, eerie shadows. Standing at the water's edge, Adana looked into the inky blackness. It seemed to stare back at her, a silent, knowing void. With a prayer on her lips, she knelt and cupped her hands, bringing the cold, dark water to her mouth. It tasted surprisingly clean, pure, with an earthy coolness that seemed to seep into her very soul. She drank deeply, her body crying out for relief. That night, she didn't go mad as the stories warned. Instead, she slept more peacefully than she had in weeks, her dreams filled with swirling constellations and the soft, gentle murmur of flowing water. From that day on, Adana secretly drank from the Midnight River, her strength returning, her unborn child growing strong within her. Weeks turned into months, and the time came for Adana's child to be born. The birth was unlike any the village had ever witnessed. As Adana went into labor, a strange, soft light began to emanate from the Midnight River, pulsing in time with her contractions. The villagers watched in awe and fear as the dark water glowed with a soft, silvery luminescence. When the baby finally arrived, it was a girl. But she was no ordinary child. Her skin had the deep, rich tone of the earth after a rain, but her eyes were the color of the Midnight River, deep, dark, and filled with the light of 1,000 distant stars. They named her Nila, meaning one who achieves. From the moment she was born, it was clear she was special. She rarely cried. Instead, she would gaze at the world with a wisdom that seemed far beyond her years. As she grew, her connection to the river became undeniable. While other children played with toys, Nila would sit by the water's edge for hours, her small hands trailing in the dark current. The water, which was set to pull people under, was gentle with her. It would swirl around her fingers, leaving behind tiny, sparkling motes of light that would fade after a moment. The villagers were divided. Some saw Nilla as a blessing, a sign that the river had finally shown them its favor. Others saw her as an omen, a child of a cursed place who might bring ruin upon them all. Adana protected her daughter fiercely, shielding her from the suspicious whispers and fearful glances. She knew her daughter was a gift, not a curse. The drought had broken the day Nilla was born. A gentle rain had fallen, and soon the land was green and fertile once more. For many, this was proof enough of Nilla's blessed nature. As Nilla grew into a young woman, her abilities became more apparent. She could calm the river when it raged, simply by speaking to it in a soft, melodic language only she seemed to know. She could find lost objects by scrying in its dark surface. The water revealed things to her, visions of the past and glimpses of the future. The shaman, Akua, took Nilla under her wing, teaching her the ancient ways and helping her understand her unique gift. Akua explained that Nilla was a bridge, just like the river itself. She was born of both worlds, a human with the soul of a river spirit. One day, a sickness fell upon the village. It was a fever that no herbal remedy could cure, and it spread quickly. People grew weak, and despair once again settled over the community. Akua tried all her remedies, but nothing worked. It was Nilla who finally understood the cause. In a vision from the river, she saw that the illness was not of the physical world, but a spiritual malady caused by a forgotten, angry spirit that had been disturbed. The spirit, she saw, was trapped and its anguish was poisoning the village. Nilla knew what she had to do. She told the villagers that the river held the cure, but it required a sacrifice of faith. She asked them to come with her to the riverbank at midnight, under the new moon. Many were terrified, the old fears resurfacing. But their desperation was greater than their fear. Led by Adana and Akua, the entire village gathered at the edge of the dark water. The air was thick with tension. Nilla walked to the very edge of the bank, the water glowing faintly around her feet. She began to sing. It was a song without words, an ancient melody that seemed to come from the depths of the earth. It was the song of the river. As she sang, the light from the water grew brighter, swirling and rising until it formed a column of shimmering, starlit energy in the center of the river. From the column, a figure emerged, not a monster, but a beautiful, sorrowful spirit made of light and water. This was the true face of the Midnight River, a guardian spirit bound to the land. The spirit spoke, its voice like the rustling of leaves and the flowing of water. It explained its purpose. It was the lifeblood of the land, and its dark waters were not a sign of evil, but of depth and mystery. The darkness held the collected memory and soul of the land itself. The spirit had been trapped and weakened by the villagers' fear, which had formed a barrier around it. The drought and the sickness were the consequences of this imbalance. Adana's act of desperate faith, drinking from the river, had created a crack in that barrier, allowing the spirit's essence to bless her child. Nilla was its daughter, born to restore the connection. Nilla turned to her people. "The river isn't something to fear," she said, her voice clear and strong. "We have forgotten this connection." She cupped her hands, filled them with the now glowing water, and offered it to the nearest elder. He hesitated, then drank. A look of peace washed over his face. One by one, the villagers came forward and drank from the river. As they did, the fevers broke, and their strength returned. The barrier of fear that had imprisoned the spirit for generations was finally dissolved by their collective act of trust. From that day on, the Midnight River was no longer a place of fear. It became the heart of the village. The people drank from it, bathed in it, and taught their children its stories not of terror, but of connection, life, and magic. Nilla became their leader and their guide, the daughter of the river, who had taught them to embrace the darkness to find the light within. The river's water remained dark, a symbol of its profound mystery, but now, when the villagers looked into its depths, they no longer saw a terrifying void. They saw the reflection of the stars, and they saw themselves.